So welcome everyone, and thank you for joining. This is our 2024 annual meeting of the Joseph James Morelli Legacy Foundation, and I am Barbara Roscoe Morelli, founder and president. And thank you for taking the time again to join. So if you do have any questions, please just put them into chat, and we will be monitoring chat, and hopefully we'll have a few minutes at the end. So as I always start off our board meetings, I always begin with reading letters that we receive. And it really is so powerful to hear from students and their families and from so many of you. So this comes from Luke Wilson, and he is a two-time scholarship awardee. He graduated high school in Waynesville, North Carolina in 2022. And he writes, "Dear members of the Morelli Foundation, thank you so much for awarding me the scholarship for the second year. The scholarship means that I get to pursue college and further my education. It allows me to focus on getting better grades and pursue my dream of becoming a veterinarian without also needing to hold down a full-time job. It also supports my family and that I am one of 4 siblings that will be in college in the next few years. The scholarship in this community has shown me that I am not really alone in getting through college with a learning disability. My freshman year came with a lot of hardships working through my ADHD and my dyslexia. Your support encouraged me to take the services on campus, and they made a difference during my freshman year. It has been a great motivator to know that I have this great community supporting me. I thank you from the bottom of my heart." Luke Wilson. So next slide, Ricky. So a brief agenda, we're going to have a welcome. Bob Mercer, who's our secretary and board member, will go over the governance. Marcia Bate, who heads up the scholarship review committee, will talk about the scholarship. I'll go over a review of 2023, also what we have planned for 2024, our outreach activities. And Ivanhoe, who is our VP, will go speak about the mentorship program. And then finally, Kay will talk about the finances. Next slide. So with that, I will turn it over to my trusty secretary and right-hand person, Bob Mercer. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara, and good evening, everyone. And again, welcome to the annual meeting of the Joseph James Morelli Legacy Foundation. This is the business part of the meeting. I'll try and get through it as quickly as possible so we can get to the fun stuff and tell you about all the great things that have been happening with the foundation. The foundation is a nonprofit Utah corporation licensed as a charitable organization by the state of Utah, and it is a 501c3 public foundation under the Internal Revenue Service Code. What we're having tonight is similar to the annual meeting of a public company. Instead of a report to our shareholders, we are reporting to our stakeholders. The foundation and its board are committed to transparency. We have audited financial statements, and our annual IRS Form 990 are posted on our website. We take very seriously our responsibility as stewards of the trust that you all have placed in us. And we're also very proud of the fact that we've been recognized with very high ratings from some charity rating services. Candid, which used to be known as GuideStar, has given us a platinum rating, and Charity Navigator, which is the leader in charity services, has given us a 4-star and 99% rating. And if I might, I'd like to read very, very briefly the description that Charity Navigator has for its platinum 4-star rating. It says that the organization excels or meets best practices and industry standards across all areas and is likely to be a highly effective charity. Again, we're extremely proud of the ratings that we have received. Next slide, please, Ricky. Our board of directors, the roster which you see here, is a board that I think any public company would be extremely proud to have as its board. It is extremely high functioning. It works very, very hard. The We do not have elections this year, as in past years we have had elections. Each director is elected to either a 2 or a 3-year term, and it just so happens that we don't have any terms expiring right this year. However, next year we will have 3 new board members elected. Board members are limited to a total of 6 years consecutive service, and we will have 3 board members next year who will come to the end of their term. We'll be electing 3 new board members, and we have a succession plan in place. Next slide, please. Now, the real day-to-day work of this foundation is performed by its committees. The Finance Committee, which is chaired by Kay Priestley, manages the finances of the organization and invests cash, and Kay will give you a report of the status of the finances later on. The Governance Committee makes sure that the foundation instills in its operations the highest standards of ethics and transparency. We vet prospective board members, and as I said, we have a succession plan in place for the 3 new members that we will have next year. Next slide, please. The Scholarship Review Committee, which is chaired by Marcy Abate, is one of the 2 foundations or pillars of the foundation. It actually is the core of what the foundation's mission. Marcy will describe later in greater detail the process, but I can assure you that the Scholarship Review Committee works very diligently through the application review and award process. And also, we need to recognize Ricky Case, our Director of Operations, who supports the committee and manages online the application process. And as you'll see through Marcy's description, that's an extremely time-consuming process. Next slide, please. The second pillar of the foundation's operations is the Outreach Committee. The Outreach Committee oversees the mentoring program, which Ann Ivanhoe, who also oversees it, will explain later. And it also helps develop a connection with the dyslexia community through webinars for students and parents. That concludes my presentation, and I want to thank you for your attention. And it's now my pleasure to turn over the meeting to Marcy Abate, our Vice President and Chair of the Scholarship Review Committee.
Thank you, Bob. The scholarship program is at the core of honoring Joseph's spirit. I'm going to talk to you about our 2023 performance and then our 2024 plans. Last year, we received 263 applications. We awarded a total of 69 scholarships. 31 went to new students receiving scholarships for the first time, and 38 went to our repeat students who had received a scholarship from us in the past. It's very important to us that we establish relationships with our awardees, and one of the ways we measure that is through our retention rate. Of the 38 repeat students last year, that was a 70% retention rate, and that has gone up since we started measuring it 3 years ago. Of the 69 recipients, it represented 29 states, so we have national reach. And we awarded $125,000, which you can see is up from the previous year. Next slide, please. We are celebrating a big anniversary this year. It is our 10th year. And when Barb started this, we never dreamed that about the growth of the foundation. The students, in order to apply for our scholarship, need to meet 3 eligibility criteria. They need to be in high school or college. They need to have dyslexia or a dyslexia-like learning difference. And they need to be studying in a STEM field: science, technology, engineering, or math. This year, we will be distributing $150,000. Our average scholarship award is about $1,800, but we have a range of 500 to 3,500. The new students are at the lower end of the range, and the repeat students receive the higher end of the range. Next slide, please. The application. It's in 3 parts. We collect background information. We ask narrative questions, 5 questions for each, the new applicants as well as the repeat applicants. And we have an area for documentation. As Bob told you about our hardworking volunteers who are on the Scholarship Review Committee, we obtain a lot of information about our applicants. The background information is basic data. What's your school? What are you studying, etc. The narrative questions are at the heart of the application. This is the emotional piece. The students are very candid with us. They tell us their personal stories. They tell us about their dreams. They tell us about their struggles. They open their hearts because they know we get them. After our reviewers have read the narrative questions, they have absorbed a lot of information about the applicant. And then lastly, the applicants need to provide documentation, their transcript, their disability paperwork, and a letter of recommendation. Next slide, please. So where do we stand? Our applications opened the 1st of this year, and they actually closed this Sunday night, February 25th. Then we commence a 3-month review cycle. We filter the applications 5 times before we come to consensus. And then in May, Ricky, our Director of Operations, will notify all applicants, whether they are recipients or not. A couple of days ago, this is where our application status stood. We had over 100 applicants submit their paperwork, the 103 completed. We had 263 in progress. And what we know will happen is that this weekend, we could get as many as 100 applicants. 20-year-olds wait till the last minute to submit their paperwork. So we know it's going to be a good year. Last year, Ricky developed some YouTube videos, and as you can imagine, the students prefer to listen to videos versus reading instructions for our applications. And we had over 450 views this year so far. I believe, in summary, that our 10th year will be our best yet. And I'd like to reintroduce Barbara.
Thank you, Marcy. And just to be clear too, we collect the transcripts to make sure that the students are indeed pursuing a STEM field, but we do not award scholarships based on grades, which is something too that really comes out in the stories. We recognize how hard these kids work, and sometimes it's not reflected in the actual letter grades. So in review of 2023, these were some of our milestones and events. We were busy. We had our scholarship awards. Every year we do a welcome meeting for students and families. We have Jake Sussman who comes on and talks about the mentoring program, and this is generally in June. July, Eveline Babbage, who's also on our board, works really hard on communications and puts together the gratitude report, which is really a stellar work of art and dedication and stories. We do webinars with the scholars. This year we started, this was the first year because we wanted to have more contact with all of our students, not just the mentees and the mentors. And then we always do a celebration event in August, which is a free event for those in Utah, or even if you're not in Utah, you can always fly in and join us. We have a band, food, drinks, educational lectures, and most importantly, students come on stage and tell them about, a little bit about themselves and why the scholarship has made a difference in their life. We always have Amy's backyard party. This started back the first year and has become now something that everybody looks forward to. That's in Boston. That's Amy Baribeau, longtime dear friend who's actually going to be becoming more involved in the scholarship process. And then this year, we also sponsored the Wasatch Reading Summit, as well as the Utah School Counselors Association. And then we always have our big fundraise, Live PC, Give PC, in November. Next slide. Oh, nope, other direction. There we go. So how do we get involved with other organizations? What does that look like? And we realized that we wanted to promote awareness and educate, especially organizations that work in the same area of interest, right? So Utah School Counselors Association obviously works with young individuals in high school, those graduating. It provides scholarship information. So this was actually a great collaboration with them. Charlie Matthews is our representative that's been attending now for the past 2 years. And we go ahead and we do sponsor them and also get involved in doing podcasts and lectures at the meeting. This year, as I mentioned, we kicked off November with October with Decoding Dyslexia Utah. We were a sponsor for the Wasatch Reading Summit. We've worked really closely with Decoding Dyslexia over the years, and I was invited to be the closeout keynote speaker, which was quite an honor. And it was really cool to be at this event and have a booth and meet all the young kids, especially those now in high school, who have been following us for the last, 8, 9 years. So back when they were in elementary school, and now they come up to the table and they say, oh, yes, I'm going to be applying, and I'm now a junior or a senior, and I'm going to be applying for the scholarship. So it's pretty cool. Next slide. We also work with we also work with universities. So we've worked really closely with the University of Utah, obviously, because we are here. We had a committee that put together some recommendations to the University of Utah to improve the ability to get accommodations to students, and also to move the Center for Disabilities office into a more prominent location within the university. It was Donnell Pons, Connie Linadarkis, and Bino Solomon. And I'm happy to report that we've had a really great collaborative relationship, and the Center for Disabilities is now in a main center building, visible and next to tutoring and counseling. So a lot more awareness. We also partner with Montana State. So Joseph was a junior at Montana State, and he was studying mechanical engineering. So we've always had a really, really strong relationship with Montana State. We have several students there. And thanks to Jeff Conger, we now have a really good relationship with their efforts with Dyslexia Initiative. So Professor Jeff Conger is dyslexic himself. He's professor in design, and he kicked off an initiative a few years ago to basically recognize and support students with dyslexia and also bring more awareness and do a webinar. So we were a sponsor, and it's been really neat because our students have actually served on his committee putting together his program. And now Jeff is also on our review committee. He's our newest member. So thank you, Montana State, and thank you, Jeff. And then the University of Virginia. So we've got strong ties to UVA, but even more so, their Department of Education is very much involved with learning challenges and also supporting students with learning challenges and also dyslexia. So there is a Bicentennial Graduate Fellows Fund that enables a young adult to be supported with funds to conduct research. So a little bit different than our scholarship, but again, very synergistic with our purpose. So this year is our first year for our student, and his name is Nate Welker. He's a native of Pennsylvania. He graduated from Penn State in special education and secondary math. And he's also a para educator and a learning support teacher. He's pursuing coursework in modeling and design methods, and he's also working with mathematic disabilities that include science vocabulary, including dyslexia, dysgraphia, and dyscalculia. He's conducting research on science vocabulary, mathematics through the Stormed Research Lab. And he's also having future research that will focus on how to serve students at the intersection of language and mathematics. So it's really, truly an honor to be able to support and help kids along the trajectory, including those that are going to move this path in science forward. Next slide. So the outreach committee, as I mentioned, we've been doing webinars. We really wanted to continue to stay connected with our students. We have Jake Sussman, who is our mentoring coach and leads Superpower Mentors. And I'm happy to announce that we will be having a special guest, Jared Blank, on March the 25th. Everybody is welcome to attend, and he will be talking to all our students about the challenges that he had as a dyslexic and what he has accomplished and achieved. So I'm not going to tell you too much, but it's a pretty cool special webinar that we have planned. We also are trying again to stay in touch with more of our students. We realize that school is busy, but we want to bring these kids back into the fold. And as they graduate, we would love to have them involved with us more. So there's a reach to them as well. And Ricky has made an effort to really try to communicate with our students via the mechanisms that work for them. So i.e. texting. And that has worked out really well. And then obviously we always have this annual welcome meeting in June for the scholars and the parents to really tell them about the organization and what they can expect. Next slide. So at this point, I want to tell you a little bit about the impact that you're helping us have. And these are 3 of our upcoming graduates. So we have Sterling Shepard. And in his 2022 statement, he said, "This scholarship helps me and others see that hard work is paid off. It can be very hard having dyslexia in the classroom where not all your skills can shine. However, the scholarship looks past that and gives students the ability to show themselves more than a grade could." He's currently at Mercer University. He is in industrial engineering, and he is also a mentor. We have Lynn Spencer, who's a local Park City student at the University of Utah. She's a 4-year Morelli Scholar. She's graduating in health and kinesiology with an emphasis in emergency care, and she's been a mentee. She says, in addition to this scholarship, we ended up paying and helping her get her testing for her dyslexia evaluation so that she could get her accommodations at the University of Utah. And I want to shout out to Jen Gale, who's a local neuropsychologist here, who did the testing at a discounted rate to try to help Lynn get the accommodations, get the testing, and graduate on time. Then that's the difference that we can have. And then we also have Cole Arthur. So he graduated 1 semester early in 2023. He's at Montana State. He's a mechanical engineer. He's also been a mentor, and he's part of the DXI committee at MSU with Jeff Conger. And in his personal statement, he says, "It has been a pleasure to work with and for the foundation on many projects, including the mentor program and the DXI symposium. The scholarship has been enormously important, and I am so grateful for the generosity of the foundation. I hope I can continue to be of service to the foundation and this community at large for decades to come." So we have 11 students that are going to be expected to graduate in 2024. And it just continues to show this long time support. Next slide. So at this point, I'm going to bring back one of our graduates, actually Emma House. We are now also supporting her brother. And Emma graduated in 2023. She was a 4-year scholar. She was at the University of Cincinnati, class of 2023, and she is now a master's student, getting her master's degree in architecture design. So with that, I am going to enable Emma to tell us in her own voice a little bit about herself.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to say thank you so much for having me on today. The scholarship has been really impactful in my life, and I think it's so interesting that my brother now has had the opportunity to also have the scholarship this fall, and it really opened up a lot of opportunities for me, and it made me feel supported in a community that is often not recognized. Dyslexia, obviously, you don't hear about it, and it is out there. A lot of people have it and they don't even know. And my brother included, he wasn't even diagnosed until his junior year of high school. And I just think it's super awesome the work that you guys are doing and the support that you guys give. It's given me the opportunity to pursue college and graduate and continue on and continue with my master's degree. And is some of the things that I've been doing are some landscape design and high quality rendering for clients. And I'm actually working in the field this semester, so I'm working full time, and then I'll be back in school in the summer. So um, some of the things that I've done are on here. I've done some large scale buildings, and I've done some high school landscape design, and then working on some landscape design in downtown Cincinnati. So that's some of the stuff and work that you guys supported me in, and the opportunities that I've been given in college. I'm really grateful to all of you.
Thank you, Emma. Thank you so much. And Emma actually has a link as well with all her work. So, and thank you for being such a great scholar and steward for our scholarship. So thank you, Emma. Next slide. So one other scholar that I want to highlight is Jeff Black. So he started with us as a mentee, and he worked really closely with Jake, so much so that he became Jake Sussman's literally right-hand person. And we were able to write a letter for Jeff. This is another thing that we offer, right? These kids get involved in our organization, and it's a nonprofit. They're doing volunteer work. We end up writing letters of recommendation. And I was able to write one for Jeff, and he is now going to be starting medical school in the fall of 2024. So I will let Jeff, he could not be here tonight because of some school obligations, but he did wanted to share a little bit. And I think, Ricky, you can do it.
Hi, my name is Jeff Black, and I'm currently a senior at Baylor University in Waco, Texas. I am also a Joseph James Morelli Legacy Foundation mentor. I am honored to speak in strong support of the Joseph James Morelli Legacy Foundation. The Joseph James Morelli Legacy Foundation has not only made a profound impact on my academic and professional journey, but also on the journey of many college-age Utah students. During my freshman year of college, I joined JJMLF as a scholarship awardee. During this time, I was able to see how the foundation supports many incredible STEM students who have learning differences. The success of these students is a direct result of the support provided by JJMLF. Fast forward to my sophomore year of college. I became a mentor for JJMLF's mentorship program. During this time, I worked with Utah student Liam Wallace. Liam, a freshman, was struggling with time management and succeeding in his chemistry course. Throughout our time working together, we were able to create a time management plan to keep track of all of his assignments, meetings, and classes. Additionally, we collaborated to ensure that he succeeded in his chemistry course. Liam's success during his first semester could only have happened with the support of JJMLF's Mentorship Foundation. As a senior in college, I am now the program manager of JJMLF's mentorship program. During this time, I've been able to support our mentors while they mentee or their mentees. The stories that I have heard from these mentors are truly inspiring. For example, our mentor, Sterling Shepard, helped our mentee, Joseph Bliss, succeed academically and professionally last year. Joseph was able to achieve a GPA of 4.0 while taking 18 hours during his second semester in college. Furthermore, Joseph was also able to earn an internship as a mechanic for that following summer. Sterling helped Joseph achieve these amazing accomplishments by teaching Joseph more efficient ways to study and by helping Joseph apply for internships. With your support, we can continue to learn of amazing accomplishments like this from our mentoring program. There are so many more stories, just like the one above, that I could share. Overall, the work of the Joseph James Morelli Legacy Foundation cannot be understated. Their support for students with dyslexia in the STEM field in Utah and at large is truly inspiring. Sincerely, Jeffrey Black.
Next slide. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to the person that actually is the director of the mentorship program and works closely with all these mentees and mentors. And as we have found, is really becoming sort of the secret to the success of our scholars. So with that, I will turn it over to Ann Ivanhoe.
Thanks, Barb. First, I have to say it is truly a joy to oversee this program. And I'm very fortunate to be able to do it with our partners at Superpower Mentors, particularly Jake Sussman. And before I get into what's on the slide, I want to just briefly explain what the program is. It's a peer-to-peer mentorship program for incoming freshmen. So our Morelli Scholar upperclassmen become mentors for incoming freshmen. And having another student who has similar learning differences really is impactful for our kids, because they know that their mentor has lived it and they get it. And the mentors are able to give them the benefit of their own experience, as well as the training that they get through Superpower Mentors. And they teach them things like how to get their accommodations, all sorts of executive functioning skills, stress management, strategies for working better, not harder, and even social things. Basically, anything a college freshman might be dealing with, their mentor is equipped to help them with. And if the mentor needs to go to somebody else for advice, they can go to Jeff or his assistant Amy, or if needed, we bring in Jake. So there's a tremendous line of support for our incoming freshmen. As far as realizing our original vision was to be able to have former mentees become mentors. And this is our 4th year in the program, and our 1st year where we have a substantial number of former mentees who are now mentors, which is really, really exciting for us. The other thing that we're very proud of is that all the incoming freshmen who received Morelli scholarships were offered mentors. This is the 1st year where we've been able to do this, thanks to the generosity of our donors. And we have 26 incoming freshmen, 20 opted to have mentors. We don't require it, but we strongly encourage freshmen to take advantage of this program. Next slide, please. The reason we strongly encourage it is because the program works and our mentors really make a difference. If you look at the academic achievement here, I think Jeff had mentioned a student with a 4.0 GPA, 3 students with 3.8 plus GPAs. 7 with no grade lower than a B. And most importantly, everybody has adjusted well. And freshman year in college is hard for anybody. And for kids who learn differently, it's that much harder. So to know that our freshmen are all thriving really warms our hearts, to say the least. The team behind it, as I mentioned earlier, is Jake Sussman, who's CEO of Superpower Mentors. I encourage you to check out their website because the work they do is absolutely brilliant. Jeff has done an extraordinary job as the program coordinator. This is the first year where we've had a student, one of our own, coordinating the program, and Jeff has been positively brilliant and has made my job so easy. And backing up Jeff is Amy, who is also fantastic. She has wonderful insights and suggestions, solutions to problems, and her mentees are really fortunate to have her. So that is the mentorship program. And I guess turn it over to Peg.
Thank you, Anne. Ever since the foundation obtained its 501c3 status, we have had our financials audited by the CPA firm of Cooper Savis. This first slide presents our financial position as of December 31, 2023. And as you can see, we have over $469,000 in net assets at the end of the year. Our net assets increased by approximately $24,000 over last year. Our cash and cash equivalents include both cash and amounts invested in a U.S. Treasury money market fund. Our investments, both the current portion and the longer-term portion, are investments in U.S. Treasury notes and high-quality bond funds with short-term bond maturities of 1 to 3 years. Next slide. This statement presents our revenue and expenses as well as the change in net assets from 2022 to 2023. We had a very successful fundraising year, and I will highlight more about this on the next slide. Nonprofits have special reporting requirements, and we report donations both without and with donor restrictions. In 2023, we received a $30,000 donation from the Sorensen Legacy Foundation, designated specifically for scholarships and mentoring for Utah students. By the end of 2023, all of the restricted funds we had received were released and used to provide scholarships and mentoring services to Utah students. We also are required, for reporting purposes, to allocate our expenses to 3 categories: program services, fundraising expenses, and management in general. In 2023, approximately $202,000 is applicable to program services, which was over 91% of the contributions we received in 2023. And we are very proud of this percentage, that so much of the funds we raise go to our programs. This slide also shows our net increase in assets, which I referred to you earlier. And this is important because we not only continue to provide scholarships to new students, but we also focus on our previous award recipients and continue to follow them through graduation. This also allows us to expand our mentoring programs and other programs to support our students. Next slide. This schedule highlights details of our major contributions and grants during the year, as well as our fundraising events. The Sorensen Foundation has been a significant contributor and donated $165,000 over the last 6 years. designated for Utah students. Bino Solomon has donated $105,000 over the last 6 years, and the Promontory Foundation has granted $31,500 over the last 6 years. Wayne Lemley has also been a major contributor and donated $100,000 over the last 2 years. Once again, we had a tremendous volunteer effort for Live PC, Give PC, led by Eveline Babbage and Ricky Case. And in 2023, we raised approximately $63,000, which was over $20,000 more than we raised in 2022. The support we've received from our donors and volunteers over the years has allowed us to not only expand our programs, but also to help our students succeed, as Anne mentioned earlier, in our mentorship program. It really makes a difference. With that, I'll turn it over to Barb.
Thank you. And what we started to do this year, actually last year, is just give an idea of donor levels. And again, just to let you know that the money goes to the kids and to the programs, and it's making a huge difference. And as you heard, our retention rate is up. We're keeping kids in college. And the next layer that we want to touch upon is actually helping our juniors, seniors, and mentors move out into graduate work as well as the career space. So, and then you've kind of have the full spectrum, right? You know, entering college to exiting college. Next slide. So again, as Kay and everybody has said, we would not have been able to do this without the volunteers, the donors, the parents, the kids, the collaborations, the organizations, the universities that support us. And a lot of the organizations that we don't even really know personally, right? A lot of these have given us, we do know personally some of these, and they've given us t-shirts and flowers and in-kind donations, but there's a lot of organizations here too that do matching grants. So again, you know, that's another way that we end up being able to raise money to the matching grants. And so many of our students and their families have work in organizations that will match the donations. So it's been really cool to see this grow over the years. And next slide. So from all of us, we want to thank you for your support. We want to keep you informed. Again, we try to be very transparent with everything that we do, that we support our kids. Every student has their own link or site on our webpage, and we always encourage them to add to it and add links or accomplishments that they've had. And then I would not be here at all without this board of directors, who really are very active and make this little foundation run. So I'm not sure if there's any questions that have come up, but if there are, please do put them in the chat. And I'm not seeing anything. So I think with that, I'm not seeing anything in Q&A. I'm not seeing anything in chat. So I will give you back 10 minutes on a Thursday evening. So thank you to everyone who spoke and presented. And again, please check out our website to learn more, and also give suggestions. You know, we're always happy. Oh, Julia says that the chat was disabled. I don't know, Ricky, if we can turn on chat.
I'm looking. I don't see where, but the Q&A is enabled.
The Q&A is enabled. So if anybody has, oh, Tracy Brown, thank you. So Tracy, one of, so we have a scholar from the Brown family. And Tracy says, thank you for all you do. So grateful. Thank you, Tracy. It really is a pleasure. It's really a joy to get to know the kids and their parents. It really is. It's really special. I think as everyone has shared, we get to know them, and it's and I'm seeing all these thank yous. So thank you. Congrats on a great year. Hi, Barb. Big thanks from Montana. It's cool. It's cool what we do. There's definitely a need. So I will give you back now 11 minutes on a Thursday evening. So thank you again, everyone. And do stay in touch with us. Bye.